Man, Karl-Anthony Towns, if you guys know me, I'm a Minnesota Timberwolves, Washington Wizards, Orlando Magic fan. Yes, I know I am a masochist when it comes to basketball fandom. I'm here at the beach with my girlfriend, but that's why you might hear the quiet, somber of waves. But I want to talk about the fact that I am so goddamn excited that Karl-Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, and Anthony Edwards is working. I think Anthony Edwards is still trying to play hero ball and have his MVP moments too much instead of letting it come naturally. So I still think he's a year away from being that MVP player. But you got defensive player of the year, Rudy Gobert. You got the new man in freaking Karl-Anthony Towns, who plays power forward. Now, I just love what Karl-Anthony Towns is doing. He just looks like a leader. He just looks like he's starting to look like the guy that we're supposed to be. Obviously, people forget that when Karl-Anthony Towns came into the NBA, the way we talk about Joel Embiid is the way that we thought Karl-Anthony Towns was going to be. I'm not dishing on Karl-Anthony Towns. I love Karl-Anthony Towns, but I've realized, maybe that was too high of a ceiling. He's still looking like an all-NBA player, looking like a guy deserving of that supermax. I mean, people don't realize this is a multi-time all-NBA player, multi-time all-star, one of the better players in the league. So let's talk about the journey that Karl-Anthony Towns has gone. Like, this is a guy who's blossomed. This team has just blossomed with the trio of Towns, Gobert, and Edwards coming together, and they got these two number one picks, and the potential for this trio to work started to look like an awkward dynamic at first, but because Edwards was trying not to step on Towns' toe, while the same thing with Gobert, and there was like obviously an admiration for each other. But now with Towns' offensive prowess at display and recognizing the ease that he can score at with Edwards being out there and taking off the pressure, because this is Towns' ninth season, and the big thing with him, shout out John Krasinski for him, is composure. He has this composure when he plays out there. He's like no longer this like emotional player that he was in the early careers. Towns has honed the ability to navigate tight moments without getting rattled. Like, his interactions with the refs have mellowed. Like, he's not like, being this crazy, over emotional guy. And he still has that amazing passing ability. We saw with that lob to Rudy Gobert the other night. Now, at 28 years old, with his girl Jordan Woods, Towns has evolved into a grown man. He plays like with grit and grind, and like it's really fun to see. So let's look at the numbers real quick to paint the picture. Towns is averaging 22.2 points as of this video. He's earned the coveted spot so far this season of that 50-40-90 club, boasting a shooting split of 51.5% from the field, 42.4% from beyond the arc, an impressive 92.4% at the free throw line. Now, notably, he stands alone in the league this season, achieving this mark while logging over 800 minutes of play. Towns' recent performance underscore his dominance, with standout games like 21 points and 17 rebounds in Dallas and a 40-point spectacle against the Indiana Pacers. And the best thing about this is that Towns' defensive prowess, a facet that has reached new heights since his shift from center to power forward to accommodate Rudy Gobert. The Timberwolves now boast the league's top defense, demonstrated by their ability to stifle Miami's offense this past game. And after surrendering 66 points in the first half, they clamped down, limiting the Heat to just 42 points on 36% shooting in the second half. With a collective effort that obviously Rudy Gobert is going to spearhead, and it just shows how good the Wolves' defensive prowess is, holding Jimmy Butler to a mere 3 points on 1 of 5 shooting. So basically, in essence, Karl-Anthony Towns is not just having the best season of his career, he's orchestrating a symphony of talent, composure, and defensive mastery that is propelling the Timberwolves to new heights. And let us just look at this and be happy for the Wolves, because we have hope and a direction. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, we're going to be this team that's just going to go to the playoffs and be amazing, because I don't even know if we'll make it out the second round. I'm scared that we'll be like the Utah Jazz. This is just me now talking as a T-Wolves fan. I'm scared that we'll be like the Utah Jazz. Okay, basically, and that with more and more time that passes, I don't know, not that we'll get exposed, but there'll be more tape. And Rudy Gobert, we all know that he's been played off the court in years past. And I I have faith. First off, you guys know I'm a big Chris Finch fan. If you guys haven't read Nick Nurse's book, Rapture, Nick Nurse brought Chris Finch to the NBA because similarly to Nick Nurse, they both had trouble breaking into the NBA. And so as soon as Nick Nurse was named head coach, he brought Chris Finch his first, I believe, assistant job in the NBA. And that's how Chris Finch ended up, replacing Ryan Saunders mid-season. And I think he's one of the best head coaches in the NBA. Now, I do understand that, this team, Rudy Gobert's been played off before because of spacing, switching, and all that. And the way that this offense works, or defense works, my apologies. The defense works here is you play straight up. You don't switch. You play your man straight up, and you give Gobert as much space in the paint to be the rim protector. Very similar to how basketball's played in Europe. Now, we don't do it here because of the 3-second, but because Gobert is so big and so good at covering ground space that they do it here and it works. But that's basically, in essence, what the defense is when you play with Gobert and what they've done here. And they play their guys straight up. They barely switch. And, they switch when they have to, like every team. But the whole thing is, in playoff basketballs in years past with Rudy Gobert and the Utah Jazz, they were played off before because of the switching. Now everyone's going to be like, well, you got Karl-Anthony Towns there, who isn't he's playing great defense. He's playing the best defense of his life right now. And he's a guy that in years past, some might say he's not the best defender. But you got to look at the bigger picture right here. I want to pull up before I quote Karl-Anthony Towns' stats, but Karl-Anthony Towns is averaging this year. First off, the 3 assists a night is absurd. But from a block perspective, he is averaging on the season just under a block and a steal a game. But he's making an impact at being out there and contesting shots. So it's the biggest question is I think we're going to be the best record in the NBA when the season ends. But I think the big thing for us is figuring out how we can be effective in the playoffs, because there's a chance that we're not going to be able to, Rudy Gobert's problems that we've had in years past could arise, but that's obviously not good wishful thinking. So I want to have wishful thoughts, and that's where we're going to wrap up the video. If you made it this far of the video, thank you for watching. I'm at the beach. I'm sorry if the audio wasn't the best, but sue me. I hope you guys did enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, I think that's the gist of what I wanted to get out. I'm happy. Karl-Anthony Towns and the Timberwolves are having the best season ever of my lifetime. Well, now, I was alive for the KG stuff, but I was born in 1999, so I got 5 years of that. I technically got 8 years, but it went all downhill after 04.